What if I told you the single most important invention in the modern world, the foundation of every computer, phone, and electronic device, was born out of both genius and controversy? This is the story of William Shockley, the man who led to the creation of the transistor and, in the process, changed everything. Think about every electronic device you've used today, your smartphone, your laptop, even the car you drive. None of it would exist without one tiny yet groundbreaking invention, the transistor. It's the cornerstone of modern technology, enabling the age of information we live in. But what if I told you the genius behind this revolutionary breakthrough was also one of the most controversial figures in science? William Shockley wasn't just a brilliant physicist. He was also a divisive leader whose ambition and ego left a lasting mark on both his team and his legacy. While his work laid the foundation for modern computing, his approach to leadership created tension, conflict, and even resentment among those who worked with him. Shockley's story isn't just about science. It's a tale of ambition, triumph, and personal flaws that shaped the course of innovation. So how did one man's brilliance and controversy spark a technological revolution? Let's take a closer look at the fascinating story of William Shockley and the invention of the transistor. William Shockley was born in 1910 in Palo Alto, California, a place that would one day become the epicenter of technological innovation. His parents, both well-educated and scientifically inclined, created an environment that nurtured his curiosity for how things worked. From an early age, Shockley's fascination with science and problem-solving became evident. He went on to study at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where his brilliance began to shine. But it was at Caltech, under the mentorship of Nobel laureates like Linus Pauling, that his scientific rigor was truly shaped. These years weren't just about learning for Shockley. They were about developing a mindset, a relentless drive to tackle practical problems through physics. Shockley wasn't just a prodigy, though. Like many great minds, he struggled with moments of self-doubt. There's a little-known story about how he nearly abandoned his graduate studies because he felt he wasn't making enough progress. It was only after encouragement from his professors that he pushed through, cementing his determination to succeed. What set Shockley apart wasn't just his intellect, but his obsession with solving real-world problems. He saw physics as more than an academic pursuit. It was a tool to revolutionize industries and change the world. What drove this young physicist to obsess over solving one of the greatest challenges in electronics? The answer lies in the problem he was about to tackle. In the 1930s and 40s, Bell Labs was a haven for scientific innovation, attracting some of the brightest minds in the world. It was here that William Shockley found his footing, joining a team tasked with solving one of the most pressing issues in electronics, the vacuum tube. At the time, vacuum tubes were essential for amplifying electrical signals in devices like radios and early computers. But they were far from perfect. Bulky, power-hungry, and prone to frequent failure. For a growing technology-driven world, this inefficiency was a major roadblock. Shockley and his team at Bell Labs were determined to find a better alternative. Shockley's technical brilliance quickly made him a standout. He wasn't just solving problems, he was envisioning a new future for electronics. Recognizing the scale of the challenge, he brought together a powerhouse team that included John Bardeen and Walter Brattain, two equally brilliant scientists. Together, they set their sights on creating a device that could amplify signals without the drawbacks of vacuum tubes. But brilliance alone doesn't always make for effective leadership. Shockley's perfectionism and intense work ethic often clashed with his colleagues. He could be dismissive of their ideas, prioritizing his vision over collaboration. This approach created growing tension within the team, planting the seeds of future conflicts. Despite the friction, the team pressed forward. Shockley's drive kept them focused on the ultimate goal, and their collective efforts would soon lead to a breakthrough. Shockley's brilliance was undeniable, but behind closed doors, his leadership was tearing the team apart. Yet they were about to make history. In 1947, after years of hard work at Bell Labs, John Bardeen and Walter Brattain made a groundbreaking discovery: the point-contact transistor. This tiny device could amplify electrical signals and switch them on or off, effectively replacing the bulky, inefficient vacuum tubes that had dominated electronics. Their invention marked the beginning of the semiconductor revolution. To understand the significance, imagine vacuum tubes as clunky old cars, large, inefficient, and prone to breakdowns. The transistor, on the other hand, was like the sleek, fuel-efficient electric vehicles of today, smaller, faster, and far more reliable. While vacuum tubes consumed massive amounts of energy and frequently burned out, the transistor achieved the same functionality on a much smaller scale, using a fraction of the power. While the point-contact transistor was a success, there was a problem. William Shockley, the leader of the team, wasn't directly involved in the final breakthrough. For a man as driven and ambitious as Shockley, this was a bitter pill to swallow. Determined to leave his mark, he locked himself away and worked obsessively to create an improved version of the transistor. The result was the junction transistor, a design that was more practical for manufacturing and use in modern electronics. This achievement not only cemented Shockley's legacy, but also won him, along with Bardeen and Brattain, the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1956. The invention of the transistor was a monumental triumph, but it came at a cost. Shockley's frustration over not being credited for the original breakthrough deepened the rift between him and his team. His relentless pursuit of recognition alienated his colleagues, turning what could have been a story of shared success into one of personal conflict. Imagine creating a world-changing invention, only to watch your relationships crumble in its aftermath. That's exactly what happened to Shockley. While the transistor transformed the world, the story behind it reveals the complexity of ambition, genius, and teamwork, and how even the greatest achievements can be overshadowed by human flaws. William Shockley's brilliance as a scientist was undeniable, but his personality often worked against him. His perfectionism and arrogance, traits that drove him to achieve so much, also alienated those around him. At Bell Labs, his dismissive attitude toward his team's contributions created deep resentment. By the time the transistor was fully realized, the tension between Shockley and his colleagues was palpable. After the success of the transistor, Shockley decided to leave Bell Labs and start his own company, Shockley Semiconductor Laboratory. His goal was to commercialize semiconductor technology, but his leadership flaws quickly surfaced. Shockley's micromanagement and inability to trust his team stifled innovation, creating a toxic work environment. This led to a dramatic turning point in technology history. 8 of his top employees, frustrated by his leadership, left the company. Dubbed the Traitorous Eight, they went on to form Fairchild Semiconductor, a company that played a pivotal role in the rise of Silicon Valley. Ironically, the man who brought them together indirectly paved the way for a new era of technological innovation, without being part of it. As if his professional struggles weren't enough, Shockley's later years were marred by an even more controversial chapter. He shifted his focus from science to promoting eugenics, advocating for ideas widely condemned as racist and pseudoscientific. These views overshadowed his groundbreaking contributions to technology and alienated him further from the scientific community. By the end of his life, Shockley's name was more associated with controversy than innovation. The man who had once been celebrated for sparking the tech revolution became a symbol of how personal flaws can tarnish even the greatest legacies. How could the man who sparked the tech revolution end up as one of its most controversial figures? The answer is as complex as Shockley himself. Despite the controversies, Shockley's contributions to science remain monumental. The transistor he helped develop laid the foundation for modern electronics, from smartphones to supercomputers. His role in the formation of Silicon Valley, albeit indirect, forever changed the landscape of technology. Shockley's story is a stark reminder that genius often comes with complexity. While his flaws may have cast a shadow over his life, his work continues to power the devices and systems that define our world today. William Shockley's legacy is one of profound contrasts. On one hand, his work on the transistor revolutionized modern technology, laying the groundwork for everything from smartphones to artificial intelligence. On the other, his difficult personality and controversial views tarnished his reputation, making him a polarizing figure in science and history. The transistor, a seemingly small invention, has had a massive impact on our daily lives, powering the devices and systems that connect, inform, and entertain us. Yet Shockley's story raises a deeper question. Does a person's flaws erase their contributions, or can we separate the science from the scientist? His journey is a powerful reminder that even flawed individuals can shape the world in extraordinary ways. The ripple effects of his work are undeniable, from the birth of Silicon Valley to the devices we use every day. If you want to learn more about how these breakthroughs shaped Silicon Valley and the modern world, check out our video on the life of Robert Noyce, co-inventor of the microchip. This next story continues the exploration of how a single invention, and the people behind it, can transform the world.